Welcome to Stager Savvy, insider secrets to stage your home and sell it for more. My name is Stephanie. This is the podcast where we bring you the latest tips, tricks, and expert insights from the world of professional staging. And I'm joined by my friend and fellow staging expert, Kandice.
Hi, everyone. We may be competitors in the Denver market, but we believe in abundance and collaboration over competition, and we're here to share our collective knowledge with you. So sit back, relax, and get ready to learn from the experts. This is Stager Savvy. Hey, Stephanie, how are you doing today?
Hi, Kandice. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited about today's episode because today we're going to talk about outside spaces and the importance of staging those spaces.
That's right. Episode 10. We made it to double digits.
Episode 10. And you know, it's summer in Colorado, and I don't know about you, but that's one of the reasons I love living here is to spend the great summer days outside, and the evenings are just perfect for hanging out on the patio.
So nice.
With our temperatures and our lack of humidity. So it's important, especially in Colorado, to talk about staging your outside spaces.
Right. We've got to make those appeal to the buyers so that they can jump into that lifestyle, right? Of whatever that outdoor space is telling them.
You know, in Colorado, because our weather's so great, outside spaces are so important. And really, it's almost as important as the inside spaces because, at least at my house, we spend most of our time outside in the summer.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to have a nice outdoor space. And I feel like people that are looking for new homes, that's important. I mean, they know that we're in Colorado and that we have nice weather and that it's great to spend your evenings outside and all of those things, right? So they want to have an amazing outside space where they can hang out. So what's important? What kind of things are you recommending? Are you looking at? Are you doing when we're talking about staging an outdoor space?
Gosh, you know, for me, it goes from even the very smallest things like a brightly colored doormat. I talk about that a lot. A thing of flowers in the front. But if you're looking for a place and you go, I was just at a townhome today, had a fenced in concrete little patio space. Well, getting back to buyer's emotions, it was not pulling emotions in any way out there because it was a fenced in concrete slab.
Period. Blah.
And so, you know, as I said to the guys, like, this is valuable outside space, but it's not showing that. So, you know, even if you just did a couple of bright chairs, they don't even have to be bright chairs, but a couple of chairs with a bright pillow on them,
right.
A couple of pots of flowers, and bang, then the buyer can see, oh, look, we could actually really enjoy this outside space.
Right. All of a sudden they want to go out there and sit down for a little while and have a glass of lemonade or whatever. Yeah. It draws you out.
Space.
Yeah.
It's valuable space, especially when it was COVID, right?
Oh my God.
You couldn't leave your house. So if you did have the outside space, you were like bonus.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. People still want that space. I mean, you're right. Sure. COVID really made it so important for all of us to have a little getaway, a little sanctuary outside.
Yep. And you know what? You honestly don't need to spend a fortune to stage your outside space. You know, you can get deals on Wayfair and you know, some of these online companies and get a cute little sectional or, you know, a table and chairs so that people can envision where they could eat their dinners at night, which we eat at night every night outside on the patio.
Yeah. Well, there's so many inexpensive options. I mean, even Walmart has bright, colorful pillows for $5 or something like that. I mean,
really
it's easy
cheap
to incorporate that inexpensively.
Absolutely. And really, I think the bright colors, especially in my opinion, are what really you can kind of use outside. I love using bright colors. Now, you know, the trend is more of the neutrals outside as well, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to put a white couch outside.
Right. No, I think outside is the place where you really can dive into the brights and the sunshine and the, all
I
the
think so.
fun stuff to draw people out there.
Right.
Yeah. So we talked mats or welcome mat or not welcome mat, brightly colored mat, brightly colored pillows. Yeah. What about things on tables, flowers or plants? And
definitely, if we're staging, if there's a nice outside space, or maybe they already have their furniture out there or whatever, I love to, do those things. Vignettes again,
yes,
from the previous episode, vignettes of like a tray with a pitcher with some fake lemons on the tray, yes. Or some glasses. Looks like you're just gonna, sit down to a little lemonade with a friend.
Yes, exactly. Patio. I love that. So and that welcomes the buyers in, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I would sit out here with my best friend, and we'd watch the kids play, and we'd have our lemonade or whatever." Yeah, they're diving in. They're mentally moving themselves into that space, and that's how spaces get sold.
So that way, if you do have great outside spaces and you're getting ready to move, definitely doing something with the outside space is really important. Bringing color, bringing textures, all of those things. The live plants. I love my greenery and my flowers and all of that.
They add so much life, especially outside. It really just makes it feel warm and welcoming and inviting and all of those things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love a good.
I was going to do this outside, but then we got rain, so I'm back here in my office. But I thought it would have been fun to show, my outside space. We have a dining area. I'm sure you have spaces too, thanks to COVID, that you really enhanced. But we have a couch
mine's not super enhanced, so no, mine would not be to show off. But
we have a hot tub, we have a bar, we have a little seating area over here, and that's something we should mention too. Is that if you can show multiple places in your yard that you could have a little spot to sit in, I think that really, not only is it look fun and inviting, but it also shows how big your yard is, because you can see, in the distance, various little sitting areas.
Right. Yeah. If you've got a couple sitting areas, maybe you've got a dining table and chairs sitting area. Maybe there's a fire pit somewhere.
Right.
There's so many great options. I did a house not too long ago where they had this, not gazebo, but I don't know, like a little platform out in the yard with a couple of chairs on it. And it had like a backing thing and a cover for shade so that they could sit out there, and it was facing west so they could watch the sunset. Whereas like the patio that was closer to the house was facing a little more north. So the sunset wouldn't have been quite as good. So they created this space like just for sunset watching and for staging. I mean, it was a dream because we had like three different, we had the dining area. Also, we had the little 2-man seating area, and then we had the sunset seating area. Like,
man, I wish I had a sunset sitting area.
It was so nice.
That is something that's missing at my house, a sunset sitting area.
Okay. We need to work on that.
In my next house.
There you go.
In my next house.
You can come to my house and watch the sunset. We have good sunset out here.
We do not. We face west, but
the backyard is. Yeah.
So let's also talk about when we're staging outside spaces. Sometimes if I have a fire pit area with some Adirondack chairs around it, I'll throw a blanket over the side of the chair to, kind of make people think, oh, look, we can just cozy up around this little fireplace area.
Absolutely. And that texture just adds so much warmth and coziness to it too.
Right. Yeah. We also, I did a property recently where they had their house backed up to a pretty major street in the neighborhood, but they had a really nice yard. And so we really wanted to focus the attention outside, because they had a couch sectional, they had a dining area, and then they had a really large flat yard.
Wow.
And so we set up some yard games out there, because that's how you capture emotion again, is by setting up vignettes. We weren't playing the yard games, but we set it up so that you could envision that you would.
That's right. The idea is there.
That yard.
We did cornhole at a house
Yeah.
not too long ago. That was another one. They had a huge deck where, again, multiple seating areas. And one of them was like they had the sofa and then the dining, and then they had like a fun, like big, like a dangling egg chair thing, that was like,
oh yeah, I love those.
So and then cornhole in the yard. I mean, it was like a whole party happening in the backyard, just with how the furniture felt, even with no people there. So,
and it must be a great yard that they're trying to show how amazing this yard is by setting up these areas. So that's very smart.
Yep. Yeah, it was lots of fun. So
not every yard is great and worth staging, but in general, I think it is a space that should not be missed.
I think every backyard can benefit from staging somehow, even if it's just 2 chairs and a table and a plant,
but in a lawn full of weeds.
Well, no, you got to get rid of the weeds first. You're not weeds.
Yes, but sometimes that doesn't happen. It's always something I want to do for my clients.
Right.
And sometimes it's like, forget it.
Yeah, no, I don't think that falls on us, but I think we definitely need to let them know that they shouldn't have a backyard full of weeds, right? And even if it is, like, we don't have grass at our house because we just don't.
On the plains.
Yeah. And we quit watering years ago because we worry about water. But like, we mow what's there, even though it's not grass, so that it stays, it looks nice. So even if you have a backyard full of weeds, like, mow it at least so that it's trimmed and consistent and looks as best it can.
Yeah, that's always the case. As best it can.
As best it can. It's going to, hopefully, anytime we come into a space, when we leave, it looks better than when we got there. So whether it's not going to be perfect or magazine ready, maybe, especially on those occupieds where we're using what's already there, but it's going to for sure look better than before we got there.
Yeah. And they need us to come up with those ideas of how to really enhance that outside space.
For sure. Most people don't know what they need, what to put where, and how should the furniture be arranged, and like, why do I need a sofa? If I've got 2 lawn chairs, why can't I just like?
Well, you know what? I like to say, if you're looking for stuff like that, if you're getting ready to list your house and you have some great outside areas, go look on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, and you will find anything you need to stage out there. And it's probably not going to cost you a fortune, but it's something that will help present that space.
Yeah, I'm all about finding an inexpensive way to help the clients get that look that we're going for. And Goodwill or Marketplace or Salvation Army,
turn right around and sell it back on Marketplace.
That's right. Or even ask your neighbor to borrow it sometimes.
True that too.
We've done that a lot. Neighbors got a great backyard, and hey, ask if you can borrow it for 2 weeks or even for overnight for just the photos at least. But hopefully through the showings and stuff too. But you got to do what you can. But I'm all about the inexpensive fixes. I love that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And I guess the last thing I think is important is to bring in, especially because it's summer, pots of fresh flowers.
Yes.
Now that can be an issue when they're not living there and they don't have anyone to water the pots, but you could always ask your neighbor who's helpful, and you can have a kid in the neighborhood.
They could be fake flowers if
they could be fake. Yeah.
That's
really what draws your eye up to the front door is color. And so having some pots of color, I love big pots, and
for the curb,
even if, like you said, they had fake flowers in them, because that's going to happen to us soon enough. With the fall and the winter, we don't necessarily stage with, flowers, but I still stage with a big pot. Big, brightly colored pot. You can just put some rocks in the bottom,
Yeah, you still have color that way.
You still have color that way.
Everybody knows you're not growing flowers in the wintertime in Colorado.
Right.
But they want some color by the front door or even by the back door.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I saw so many and they were on sale at home. And so I'm going to go buy a few for my business so that I can provide a couple, if I have to.
Yeah.
That is something I usually recommend and say, buy something you like so that you can take it to your next house.
Yes.
I
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I figure if I'm going to make them spend money, that it should be something they want and something they'll utilize when they move.
Exactly.
And they have fresh new stuff for their new house and everybody's happy, hopefully, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't forget to power wash.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I mean, I just did a preview today and the really cool upper deck off the master. I said, "Oh, let's go see what it looks like out here." It was so disgusting. I don't think anybody had been out on it or looked at it in 10 years. I mean, there were piles of dead leaves and spider webs, and it was so bad. And I'm staging for him on Wednesday, and I said, he had two
You need to clean this up.
plastic faded green chairs, plastic, the ones. And he said, "Well, can we just put these chairs on the back patio? Will that be enough?" And I said, "Well, I don't think they're raising the perceived value."
Yeah.
I'm going to try and bring you some chairs that will look a little better.
Right.
So in the meantime, he's supposed to be power washing that deck patio area, and maybe I'll bring some chairs for there too, just to highlight it, because those things are added bonuses.
Right. And that, I mean, I like how you said, like, that's not really raising the perceived value. Like that's the thought we need to put in their head. Don't you want the buyer to perceive this as a super valuable space? Right. It's all about what the buyer's thinking. So we need to elevate their thinking as much as we can.
Yeah. And that was not doing that.
Oh God. Yeah. Power washing and washing out the outdoor lights. They're always dirty.
Oh,
like,
yes.
I mean, I know we talked about that on the curb appeal episode, but that goes for outdoor spaces too, out back. And
yes, I think power washing, it should be a must on your checklist as you're getting your home ready.
For sure.
Because nobody regularly does that, at least not many people I know. So it's probably filthy. Yeah. So you might as well power wash it. You can rent that from Home Depot.
Right.
A power washer.
I've come across when I'm looking at the, the garage door at the curb appeal and back door and all of that. And I'm like, wow, it's really clean. You don't have the buildup of cobwebs that most people have. They're like, oh, we painted 2 weeks ago. Oh, well, yeah. So if you freshly painted, you probably don't have to do that. But otherwise, it's a must do, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Agree. Okay.
Anything else that you recommend doing on the outside spaces besides, your basics, fix things that are broken, weeds, mow your lawn?
Fresh mulch.
Fresh mulch. Not the red stuff.
No, the black stuff.
Black.
The black mulch.
Yeah.
Plant flowers if you have time and you need to. I mean, fresh flowers are always a good idea.
Trimming up your bushes and, that all needs to be nicely trimmed.
Yep. Get the weeds out of there.
And I don't like pulling weeds any better than anybody else does.
Right. So colorful accessories. We talked pillows, but what about rugs? Outdoor rugs.
Oh, I love a rug. But real quick, if you're looking for a weed killer that's not going to kill all the bees,
tell us.
Sprayed a bunch of weeds up at our cabin, and before I had even left, they were dying. And it's a gallon of vinegar, a cup of salt, and a little bit of dish soap. And I put it in one of those big sprayers, you pump it and then you can just go around and spray.
Yeah.
So supposedly that's a really great way to do it without hurting the environment.
Well, yeah, it's all non-toxic.
Yeah.
Yay for non-toxic. We might have to have a non-toxic episode too. I'm all about healthy home and all of that.
Yes, me too. So getting back to the accessories, I love a rug out on the patio. We have a concrete patio, and I have a rug under my dining table, and I have a rug under my my sectional, and it's just so cozy. I can go out barefoot, and not be feeling the concrete. And although this year my rugs have been nothing but wet because we have had so much rain.
Ridiculous Colorado rain. I don't know where that came from.
We've never had that kind of situation.
My husband, we were just talking about that this morning or last night when it was raining. He's like, we have never had this much rain in a season before.
And starts late at night. Yeah. That doesn't happen very often either.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. But I love an outdoor rug. I mean, it makes it homey, and it makes it
bringing the inside out.
It creates an outdoor room really instead of just having a couch plunked down somewhere. It makes it really feel more like part of the home. So add a rug. Get a rug. Rugs are great.
Get a rug or two. So I think we've hit it all, and
I think so. I'm checking my notes.
If you aren't staging your outside spaces, you better get to it, because they are valuable areas that really need to be judged.
For sure. Especially in Colorado. I mean, everywhere, but I would say especially in Colorado, because we are outdoor people for the most part.
Yeah.
And outdoor spaces are important to buyers. Yeah. So show it to them. Show them what you got.
Show them how you're going to live out there.
Yes. All right. Very good.
Right. Good discussion.
Yeah. Anything else to add? We got it?
I think that's it for today.
I think that's it. All right. Outdoor spaces. Thanks, Kandice.
Well, stay tuned for our next episode. We are in discussions. If you have a great idea for an episode, shoot us a message on stagersavvy.com, right?
Yep. Or even just comment on the podcast or on YouTube or wherever you're watching or
we would love to do episodes.
Yeah,
we'd love to do episodes that you found valuable. So if there's something that you want to know about or learn about or whatever, let us know. We'll do an episode about it.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Well, have a great rest of your day, Stephanie, and everyone else who's listened or watched us.
You too. Thanks, Kandice. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay.
Thank you for listening to Stager Savvy, insider secrets to stage your home and sell it for more. We hope you've enjoyed our discussion on home staging and gained valuable insights that you can apply to your own real estate journey.
If you have any questions, ideas for future episodes, or would like to learn more about our services, please feel free to visit our website, stagersavvy.com, or reach out to us directly at stagersavvy@gmail.com. We're always here to help.
Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast to stay up to date on the latest episodes. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to us and helps us improve our content and reach more people.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.